In the verdant landscapes of Ireland, where myths intertwine with history and the air is thick with tales of ancient heroes, there lies a darker, more contentious narrative. This is a story of faith and power, of an island caught in the throes of religious and political upheaval. The epic clash between Catholicism and Protestantism, underscored by the oppressive penal laws, not only divided a nation, but also forged an indomitable spirit among its people. Through centuries of persecution and resistance, the Irish Catholics' struggle against Protestant dominance shaped the cultural and political identity of Ireland, leaving a legacy that continues to echo through the ages. This is the dramatic chronicle of Ireland's religious strife, where faith became a battleground and resilience the ultimate triumph.
Big news incoming! Before we jump into today's video, I've got something special just for you. Ever dreamed of mastering Hebrew? Well, now's your chance, and it's more affordable than ever. We're thrilled to offer you the chance to enroll in our beginner Hebrew class, and guess what? You get to set your own price. That's right. You decide how much you're comfortable investing in your Hebrew learning journey, and we'll make it work for you. And to sweeten the deal, we're throwing in 3 free introductory classes. No strings attached, just a taste of the incredible journey ahead. So why hesitate? Take the leap into Hebrew today and open up a world of language and culture.
In Hebrew without nikudot, you usually do get a yud in there that often gives you a clue that the preceding vowel was either a chirik or a tseire.
Click the link in the description to sign up now and kickstart your Hebrew adventure. All right, let's get back to the video and keep that excitement going.
The year was 1534, and the winds of change swept across the British Isles. In England, King Henry VIII, embroiled in a bitter conflict with the papacy over his desired annulment from Catherine of Aragon, made a fateful decision. Breaking from the authority of the Pope, he declared himself the supreme head of the Church of England, thereby igniting the Protestant Reformation in his realm. This seismic shift aimed to curtail the power of the Catholic Church and establish a new religious order under royal control. As the Reformation took root in England, its influence began to creep towards Ireland. However, the response was anything but receptive. The Irish, deeply anchored in their Catholic faith and wary of English dominance, viewed Protestantism with suspicion and hostility. For them, this new religious movement was not a mere theological divergence, but an imposition of foreign control over their spiritual and cultural life. Determined to enforce his authority, Henry VIII declared himself King of Ireland, further intensifying efforts to extend Protestant reforms to the island. Despite these efforts, Ireland's rugged landscapes and resilient communities remained bastions of Catholic faith. The Reformation in Ireland thus became a contentious struggle, emblematic of broader political and cultural tensions between the Irish and their English rulers. The flight of the Earls marked a pivotal moment in Irish history. Following the defeat of Gaelic lords at the hands of the English crown, leading figures of the Irish nobility, Hugh O'Neill, Earl of Tyrone, and Rory O'Donnell, Earl of Tyrconnell, fled Ireland. This exodus left a power vacuum in Ulster, the northern province of Ireland. Seizing the opportunity, the English government initiated the Plantation of Ulster, systematically settling English and Scottish Protestants on confiscated lands. These new settlers, with their distinct Protestant faith, significantly altered the demographic and religious landscape of the region. The Irish Catholic majority, dispossessed and disenfranchised, faced increasing economic hardships and social marginalization. The plantation policy not only disrupted traditional Gaelic society, but also sowed deep-seated resentment and mistrust between the native Catholic Irish and the Protestant newcomers. Tensions reached a boiling point with the Irish Rebellion of 1641, fueled by years of grievances and a desire to reclaim their land and rights. The Irish Catholics rose in revolt against the Protestant settlers and English rule. The rebellion quickly escalated into a brutal and bloody conflict, characterized by massacres, reprisals, and widespread violence. It underscored the deep divisions within Irish society and highlighted the stark religious and cultural fault lines they developed. This period of upheaval and violence laid the groundwork for subsequent conflicts and set the stage for the imposition of the penal laws. The seeds of conflict sown during the early 17th century would bear bitter fruit in the years to come, as Ireland's Catholic population continued to resist Protestant dominance and English authority. A dark chapter in Irish history began with the introduction of the penal laws, a series of statutes aimed at disenfranchising and oppressing the Catholic majority. These laws were designed to consolidate Protestant power and diminish Catholic influence, leaving a legacy of persecution and hardship.
Exclusion from public office.
Catholics were systematically excluded from positions of authority and power. They were barred from serving in the military, holding public office, or practicing law. This exclusion effectively silenced Catholic voices in governance and eroded their political influence.
Land ownership restrictions.
The penal laws sought to economically cripple the Catholic population. Catholics were forbidden from buying land, inheriting it from Protestants, or leasing it for more than 31 years. These restrictions meant that Catholic landowners saw their estates shrink and their economic power diminish, leading to widespread poverty and disenfranchisement.
Worship and clergy suppression.
Public Catholic worship was severely restricted. Catholic churches were often closed, and priests faced constant threats of arrest and persecution. The Mass, a cornerstone of Catholic religious life, was driven underground, often celebrated in secret and secluded locations to avoid detection by authorities.
Education restrictions.
Catholic education was targeted to undermine the transmission of religious and cultural values. Catholics were prohibited from running schools or sending their children abroad for education. Despite this, clandestine hedge schools emerged, where Catholic children were taught in secret, preserving their faith and heritage.
Civil rights and legal discrimination.
Catholics were stripped of many civil rights. They were excluded from voting, serving on juries, and testifying against Protestants in court. This legal discrimination ensured that Catholics had little recourse for justice and protection under the law. The penal laws inflicted severe economic, social, and cultural damage on the Catholic population. Families were torn apart by poverty, communities were destabilized, and cultural practices were suppressed. However, rather than eradicating Catholicism, these laws inadvertently strengthened the resolve and identity of the Irish Catholics. The shared experience of persecution fostered a sense of unity and resistance against the Protestant ruling class and English colonial rule. Over time, the rigidity of the penal laws began to loosen. Starting in 1778, a series of Catholic relief acts gradually dismantled these oppressive statutes. The culmination came with the Catholic Emancipation Act of 1829, championed by Daniel O'Connell, which restored many civil rights to Catholics, including the right to sit in Parliament. The penal laws, though ultimately repealed, left a deep and lasting impact on Irish society. They shaped the collective memory and identity of Irish Catholics, reinforcing their resilience and defiance in the face of oppression. This era of persecution highlighted the stark injustices of colonial rule and set the stage for future struggles for Irish independence and equality. In the shadows of these draconian laws, the Irish Catholic spirit not only survived but thrived, sowing the seeds for a nation that would eventually rise to reclaim its sovereignty and cultural pride. Despite the harsh realities imposed by the penal laws, the spirit of the Irish Catholics endured and even flourished under persecution. This resilience manifested in various forms of defiance and adaptation, allowing them to preserve their faith, culture, and sense of identity.
Secret worship and education.
Deprived of the right to worship openly, Irish Catholics took their faith underground. Secret masses were held in secluded locations, with the faithful gathering in hidden clearings and isolated homes to practice their religion. Similarly, education, banned for Catholics, found its way through the hedge schools. These clandestine schools operated in the shadows, where itinerant teachers imparted knowledge and religious instruction to Catholic children. These covert activities ensured the survival of Catholic traditions and the transmission of cultural values across generations.
Community solidarity.
The penal laws, intended to fracture Catholic society, instead fostered a profound sense of community and solidarity. Shared experiences of oppression and hardship brought Catholic families and communities closer together. They supported each other through clandestine networks, helping to sustain their faith and culture. This solidarity became a cornerstone of the Irish Catholic identity, reinforcing their collective resolve against external pressures.
Cultural preservation.
Despite the restrictions, the Irish managed to preserve their cultural heritage. Traditional music, dance, and storytelling thrived in secret gatherings and family circles. The Irish language, though suppressed, was spoken in rural areas and passed down through generations. These cultural practices served as a silent form of resistance, maintaining a distinct Irish identity in the face of relentless Anglicization efforts.
Political agitation and leadership.
As the 18th century progressed, the seeds of political agitation began to sprout. Leaders like Daniel O'Connell emerged, advocating for Catholic rights and mobilizing the masses. O'Connell's tireless efforts culminated in the Catholic Emancipation Act of 1829, a significant victory that restored many civil rights to Irish Catholics. His leadership demonstrated the power of peaceful political activism and inspired future generations to continue the struggle for justice and equality.
Economic adaptation.
Many Irish Catholics adapted to the economic restrictions by finding alternative means of livelihood. Tenant farming, though challenging under oppressive rent conditions, became a way of life for many. Others turned to trade and craftsmanship, creating a network of small businesses and services that sustained local economies. This adaptability showcased the ingenuity and determination of the Irish people in the face of systemic economic disenfranchisement. The era of the penal laws, marked by severe persecution and discrimination, was a testament to the resilience and indomitable spirit of the Irish Catholics. Despite the numerous attempts to eradicate their faith and culture, they persevered, finding ways to adapt and resist. Their struggle against the penal laws not only preserved their identity, but also laid the groundwork for future movements toward independence and equality. This resilient spirit, forged in the crucible of adversity, became a defining characteristic of the Irish people. It underscored their capacity to withstand oppression and emerge stronger, unified by a shared history of struggle and a relentless pursuit of justice. The history of Ireland, marked by the intense struggle between Catholicism and Protestantism and the harsh imposition of the penal laws, is a testament to the resilience and fortitude of its people. These draconian laws aimed at eradicating Catholicism and entrenching Protestant dominance inadvertently unified the Irish Catholic community, fostering a strong collective identity and a spirit of resistance that would shape the nation's future. From the flight of the Earls and the plantation of Ulster to the brutal Irish Rebellion of 1641 and the subsequent imposition of the penal laws, Ireland's journey was one of enduring hardship and relentless struggle. Yet, through secret worship, clandestine education, and unwavering solidarity, the Irish Catholics preserved their faith, culture, and heritage. The gradual repeal of the penal laws and the triumph of Catholic emancipation in 1829 marked the beginning of a new era. This victory not only restored civil rights to Catholics, but also ignited a broader political awakening that paved the way for Ireland's eventual independence. The cultural revival that followed further solidified a sense of national pride and identity, deeply intertwined with the memories of past struggles. Despite the progress made, the legacy of religious conflict continued to cast a shadow over Ireland, particularly in Northern Ireland, where sectarian divides culminated in the Troubles. However, the peace process and the Good Friday Agreement of 1998 reflected a commitment to overcoming these divisions and building a more inclusive and harmonious society. Today, Ireland stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of its people. The legacy of the penal laws and the conflict between Catholicism and Protestantism serves as a powerful reminder of the nation's capacity for resilience, unity, and cultural preservation. It underscores the importance of reconciliation, justice, and equality in shaping a brighter future for all. In the shadows of a tumultuous past, Ireland has forged a strong and vibrant identity, a beacon of hope and endurance that continues to inspire generations.